The package sat on my coffee table like a time bomb. Plain brown paper, my father's precise handwriting on the label. The sight of it made my hands shake. According to the postmark, he'd mailed it 3 days before his death. Rose, it said simply, to be opened upon my death. I'd kept it sealed for 6 months, telling myself I wasn't ready. But tonight, something felt different. Maybe it was the third glass of wine, or maybe just the weight of avoiding it for so long. The brown paper tore easily, revealing a USB drive and a handwritten note. My father's familiar scrawl brought an ache to my chest. My dearest Rose, if you're reading this, I'm gone. What I'm about to share will change everything you think you know about our family. Watch the video first, then decide what to do with the truth. Love always, Dad. My laptop whirred to life, its glow harsh in my dark apartment. The video file opened, and suddenly, there he was, my father, looking exhausted but determined, sitting in his study. Rose, his voice cracked slightly. I've recorded this message because there are things you need to know. Things about your mother, about Carter Innovations, about why I've been so distant these past few years. He paused, running a hand through his silver hair, a gesture so familiar it made my throat tight. Your mother and Franklin, they've been systematically draining the company's accounts. Millions, Rose. I've been gathering evidence, but they're careful, too careful. I thought I could handle it quietly, protect everyone involved, but he coughed, a rough, painful sound. The doctors say I don't have much time left. Cancer's funny that way. It forces you to prioritize. And you, Rose, you deserve the truth. The evidence is all here, encrypted on this drive. The password is the name of that little cafe in Paris where we had breakfast on your 16th birthday. I remembered it instantly. Le Petit Jardin. The morning sun, fresh croissants, my father's proud smile as I ordered in stumbling French. What you do with this information is your choice. But know this, your mother isn't who you think she is. She never was. I should have protected you from her manipulations years ago. That's my greatest regret. He leaned closer to the camera, his eyes intense. Watch yourself around Franklin, too. He's more dangerous than he appears. And Rose, I'm so sorry for leaving you with this burden, but you're stronger than anyone I know. You always have been. The screen went black. I sat there, stunned, as pieces of my childhood rearranged themselves like a kaleidoscope. The constant moves, the mysterious business trips, my mother's endless social climbing. It all took on a darker meaning. My phone buzzed, making me jump. A text from my mother. Darling, don't forget the foundation gala tomorrow night. Franklin's announcing some exciting changes to the company. Wear something appropriate. I stared at her message, bile rising in my throat. All these years, I'd blamed myself for our fractured relationship. I'd believed her when she said I was too sensitive, too dramatic, too much like my father. The wine bottle caught my eye, and I hurled it against the wall. It shattered satisfyingly, leaving a dark stain like dried blood. My hands stopped shaking. The path ahead was suddenly crystal clear. Tomorrow night, at their precious gala, they'd learn what it felt like to have their carefully constructed world torn apart. I picked up my phone and dialed a familiar number. Miles, it's Rose. Remember how you always said you owed me a favor? I need your help with something. The Carter mansion loomed before me, its windows gleaming like accusatory eyes in the evening light. I smoothed my dress, midnight blue, elegant, armor for the battle ahead, and pressed the doorbell. Eli answered, his gangly teenage frame filling the doorway. Rose? His face lit up, then quickly dimmed. Mom didn't say you were coming. Surprise! I hugged him, noting how he'd grown taller than me. Is she home? In the conservatory, planning tomorrow's gala. With Franklin. He rolled his eyes, a gesture so like our father it made my chest ache. The house hadn't changed, still that suffocating perfection Mother insisted upon. Family photos lined the walls, carefully curated to show our happiest moments. Lies in silver frames. Mother's voice drifted from the conservatory, that practiced laugh she reserved for important people. Franklin, darling, the guest list simply must include the Richardsons. I stepped into the doorway. Hello, Mother. She froze mid-gesture, champagne flute hovering. Rose, what an unexpected pleasure. Her eyes narrowed, assessing my appearance with surgical precision. Franklin rose from his leather chair, all corporate charm. Rose, how wonderful to see you. Will you be joining us tomorrow night? Wouldn't miss it. I met his gaze steadily. After all, it's about Father's legacy, isn't it? Mother's smile tightened. Darling, you should have called first. We're rather busy with preparations. I need to talk to you, alone. Now, really isn't. It's about Dad. The room went still. Franklin cleared his throat. I'll give you ladies some privacy. Vivian, don't forget to call the caterer about the seafood situation. He squeezed my mother's shoulder as he passed, a gesture of ownership, not comfort. Mother set down her champagne. Well, what's so urgent? I found something interesting today. A video message from Dad. The color drained from her face, but her voice stayed steady. Your father was quite confused near the end, dear. The medication. He seemed perfectly lucid when he talked about the money you and Franklin have been stealing from the company. Her laugh was sharp as broken glass. Stealing? Don't be ridiculous. Your father always had such dramatic ideas about business. Stop lying. My voice cracked like a whip. I have proof. Bank records, dummy accounts, everything. She moved closer, perfume suffocating. Rose, sweetheart, you're upset, I understand. Grief does strange things. Don't, I stepped back. Don't try to manipulate me, not anymore. Manipulate? Her eyes widened in practiced innocence. I'm your mother. Everything I've ever done was to protect this family. By stealing from Dad's company? By marrying Franklin 6 months after Dad died? Your father was a dreamer, Rose. He never understood what it takes to maintain our position. The right connections, the right appearance, the right lies. A sound from the doorway made us both turn. Eli stood there, face pale. Mom, what's Rose talking about? Mother's mask slipped for just a second, revealing something desperate underneath. Eli, darling, go to your room. This doesn't concern you. Like hell it doesn't, I said. He deserves to know what kind of people raised him. That's enough, Mother's voice shook. You want to destroy everything we've built? Fine, but leave your brother out of it. Or what? I stepped closer. You'll cut me off? Too late. You'll turn everyone against me? Been there. I'm not that scared little girl anymore, Mother. Tomorrow night at your precious gala, everyone will know exactly what you and Franklin have done. She grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I pulled away, heading for the door. Eli caught my sleeve. Rose, wait. I'll call you tomorrow, kid. I kissed his forehead, whispered, Stay strong. Outside, the night air felt clean after the poison of that house. My phone buzzed, Miles texting. Everything okay? Need backup? I typed back, Tomorrow night, be ready. Behind me, through the windows, I could hear Mother's voice rising in anger, probably already calling Franklin. Let them scramble, let them panic. Tomorrow, Justice would wear midnight blue and arrive precisely on schedule. 3 hours before the gala, I slipped back into the mansion through Dad's old study window. The house hummed with pre-party chaos. Caterers shouting, music testing. Mother's voice directing the symphony of pretense from somewhere downstairs. The study remained untouched since Dad's death, preserved like a museum exhibit. But something felt off. The leather chair was slightly askew, the Persian rug's corner turned up. Someone had been searching. I ran my fingers along the mahogany paneling, remembering the day I'd discovered Dad's secret by accident. I'd been 12, hiding from Mother's latest criticism, when I'd leaned against the wrong panel and found the hidden room. The mechanism clicked softly now, revealing the narrow doorway. Inside, darkness waited, but something was wrong. The air felt disturbed, recently stirred. My phone's flashlight revealed the truth. Filing cabinets stood open, papers scattered across the floor. They'd found it, but how? Looking for something? I spun around. Franklin stood in the doorway, blocking the exit. His usual smooth charm had hardened into something predatory. Fascinating space, he said, stepping inside. Your father was quite the paranoid record keeper, wasn't he? Where are the files? Safe. Unlike you, if you continue this ridiculous crusade. He moved closer. Your mother's beside herself. Is that what you wanted? What I want is justice. Justice? He laughed. You want revenge, but you're playing a game you don't understand, Rose. Your father didn't tell you everything in that video. My pulse quickened. What are you talking about? Ask yourself, why did Henry really start recording everything? Why build this little spy cave? Franklin gestured around the room. Because he knew his hands weren't clean either. The Richardson deal, the offshore accounts, Daddy Dearest was no saint. You're lying. Am I? Check the bottom drawer, third file from the back. If your father's precious evidence is so damning, why did he never use it? My hands shook as I pulled out the file. Documents spilled across the desk, contracts, photos, emails. Dad's signature on things that couldn't be legal, dates that aligned with our sudden wealth when I was 15. He was protecting the company, I whispered. He was protecting himself, just like your mother protected you both by marrying me when the debts started piling up. Franklin's voice softened. We can protect you too, Rose. Walk away. Come to the gala. Play your part. The company stays stable. Eli's future stays secure. Everyone wins. Everyone except Dad. Your father made his choices. Now it's your turn. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. Inside is a contract. Sign it, and you get a seat on the board, a generous salary, and all of this stays buried. Or don't. And watch everything your father built burn down, taking your brother's inheritance with it. A noise from the doorway made us both turn. Eli stood there, face pale in the dim light. Is it true? He asked. About Dad? About everything? Franklin's mask slipped for just a second, revealing genuine concern. Eli, you shouldn't be here. I heard everything. Eli's voice cracked. Rose, what are you going to do? The weight of the contract felt like lead in my hands. Through the floor, I could hear the first gala guests arriving. Mother's practiced laugh floating up the stairs. You have 1 hour to decide, Franklin said quietly. Choose wisely. He left, shepherding a resistant Eli out with him. Alone in Dad's secret room, I stared at the evidence of a legacy more complicated than I'd imagined. The contract waited, offering safety, security, silence, everything Mother had always valued. My phone buzzed, Miles texting. In position whenever you're ready. I looked at the contract one last time, then at Dad's old photo on the wall. He was smiling, but now I could see the weight in his eyes, the cost of compromises made. The sound of champagne glasses clinking drifted up from below. The gala was beginning, and with it, the point of no return. I pulled out my lighter. Sometimes burning it all down is the only way to build something true from the ashes. Miles' apartment always smelled like coffee and old books. Tonight, scattered across his living room floor, Dad's legacy lay in piles of damning evidence and devastating revelations. This goes deeper than we thought, Miles said, holding up another document. Look at these signatures. Your father wasn't just covering up their theft, he was actively participating in it. I paced between the piles, my heels clicking against hardwood. There has to be more to it. Rose. Miles' voice softened. Sometimes people we love aren't who we thought they were. Don't. I snatched the paper from his hand. Dad wouldn't. My phone buzzed. Eli. Mom's freaking out. Franklin's lawyers are here. What did you do? Your mother's lawyers are circling, Miles observed. We need to decide our next move. The word our caught me off guard. I studied his face, the same steady presence that had gotten me through every crisis since we were kids. This isn't your fight, Miles. Like hell it isn't. He stood, closing the distance between us. Remember senior year when your mom tried to force you into that corporate internship instead of art school? Who helped you apply for scholarships behind her back? That was different. Was it? You're still fighting for the right to choose your own path. His hand brushed mine, then withdrew. But this time, the stakes are higher. My phone buzzed again. Franklin. Final offer, board seat, full partnership. Everything stays buried. 1 hour to decide. They're scared, Miles said, reading over my shoulder. That means we're close to something. I picked up another file, and a photo slipped out. Dad with Franklin, both younger, standing in front of a building I didn't recognize. The date stamp showed 15 years ago, long before Franklin married Mother. Miles, look at this. My hands shook. They knew each other before everything. He took the photo, frowning. There's something written on the back. I flipped it over, an address and 2 words. Project Phoenix. Miles was already at his laptop. It's an abandoned research facility outside the city, closed down after a fire in, wait. He looked up, face pale. Rose, the fire happened the same week your father's company suddenly took off. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. Insurance money, that's how Dad saved the company. And Franklin helped him do it. Miles kept typing. The insurance payout was massive, enough to build everything we have now. I sank onto the couch. Franklin didn't marry Mother for money. He married her for control. He's been pulling the strings since before Dad died. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I stared at the photo, at my father's smile. Was it triumph or guilt in his eyes? If I expose Franklin, I expose Dad too. Everything he built, everything he left for Eli. Sometimes burning it all down is the only way to rebuild. Miles echoed my earlier words back to me. My phone buzzed one last time. Eli. Found something in Dad's study you need to see. Meet me there before the gala? It's a trap, Miles said immediately. Probably. I stood, gathering the most damning documents. But it's also our only chance to find out what really happened. Then I'm coming with you. No. I touched his cheek, an old gesture from younger days. I need you at the gala. If something goes wrong. Rose, his voice cracked slightly. Don't ask me to watch you walk into danger alone. Not again. The weight of unspoken things hung between us, years of almost moments and careful distances. 1 hour, I said finally. If you don't hear from me by then, release everything we have to the press, all of it. And if Franklin's waiting instead of Eli? I picked up my father's lighter from the evidence pile. Then he'll learn what happens when you underestimate a Carter. The city lights blurred as I drove toward the mansion, toward whatever trap awaited. In my rearview mirror, Miles stood watching, phone already in hand. My backup plan, my constant, my almost. Some fires, once started, can't be contained. By morning, everything would be ashes or truth. Maybe both. The gala sparkled with calculated perfection. Crystal chandeliers cast diamonds of light across evening gowns and champagne flutes, while Mother's carefully curated guest list circulated like sharks in expensive suits. I stood in the shadows of the grand staircase, watching Franklin work the room, every handshake a performance, every laugh a lie. Eli hadn't shown up at Dad's study. Instead, I'd found a note. Not safe to meet. Mom knows something. Be careful. My phone vibrated. Miles. In position. Security cameras looped. You have 20 minutes. The weight of the USB drive felt heavy in my clutch. One file upload to the gala's presentation system, and everything would unravel. Project Phoenix, the insurance fraud, all of it. You look troubled, dear. Mother materialized beside me, resplendent in midnight blue, the same shade as my dress, always competing, even now. Having second thoughts about your little crusade? You knew about the fire, didn't you? About what Dad and Franklin did? Her smile tightened. I knew what I needed to know. Sometimes protection means selective blindness. Is that what you tell yourself? No, darling. She sipped her champagne. That's what your father told himself every time he signed those documents, every time he chose the company over his family, over you. The truth in her words stung. At least he tried to make it right in the end. Did he? Or did he just pass his guilt on to you? She touched my arm. You're so like him, Rose, so ready to burn everything down in the name of justice, without considering the collateral damage. Franklin took the stage, tapping his glass for attention. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention. It's not too late, Mother whispered. Think of Eli. Think of what this will do to him. My brother stood near the stage, looking so young in his first tuxedo. Our eyes met across the room, and I saw something there. Not fear, but determination. He nodded once. Tonight, we celebrate not just Carter innovations, Franklin continued, but the legacy of Henry Carter himself. I moved toward the control room, but Mother's grip tightened. Rose, please, I'm begging you. You're not begging, I said quietly. You're manipulating, like always. Breaking free, I slipped through the crowd. The control room door clicked open with Miles's stolen key card. Inside, screens showed every angle of the gala, including Mother, now urgently whispering to Franklin. My hands shook as I inserted the drive. One upload, one moment of truth, and I wouldn't do that if I were you. I spun around. Franklin stood in the doorway, holding up his phone. On the screen, security footage played. Dad and Franklin entering Project Phoenix. Dad striking the match. Insurance fraud was just the beginning, Franklin said softly. Your father's hands were dirtier than you know. There were people in that building, Rose. Accidents, they called it. But your father knew. The room tilted. You're lying. Am I? Upload those files, and this footage goes to every news outlet in the country. Your father's legacy won't just be tarnished, it'll be destroyed, along with any chance of Eli inheriting what's rightfully his. Through the monitors, I watched Eli talking to Mother, saw the tension in his shoulders. My brother, Dad's son, innocent of all this. Tick-tock, Rose. Franklin's smile was razor sharp. What's it gonna be? Justice or family? The USB drive hummed between my fingers, warm with secrets and sins. Dad's voice echoed in my memory. You're stronger than anyone I know. But strength wasn't the question anymore. The question was, what kind of legacy was I really fighting for? Outside, the crowd waited. Mother watched the control room door like a hawk. Miles stood ready with his phone, waiting for my signal. And Eli, God, Eli looked so much like Dad in that moment, carrying weights too heavy for his years. I reached for the computer, my decision crystallizing like ice in my veins. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't what you destroy, it's what you choose to save. I pulled the USB drive from the computer, but not before sending one crucial file to Miles. Franklin's smirk wavered as I turned to face him. You win, I said quietly. The footage stays buried. Wise choice. He reached for the drive, but I held it back. On one condition. My voice stayed steady. You resign, tonight, in front of everyone. His laugh was sharp as broken glass. Or what? Or I release proof of your current embezzlement. Dad's sins may have built this company, but yours are destroying it. The slap came fast, echoing in the small room. My cheek burned, but I didn't flinch. Through the monitors, I saw Miles moving through the crowd toward the stage. You really are Henry's daughter, Franklin snarled. Same righteous arrogance, same inability to see the bigger picture. The control room door burst open. Mother stood there, face white. What have you done? On every screen, the presentation changed. Not Dad's secrets, not Project Phoenix, but spreadsheets, bank transfers, Franklin's systematic looting of the company over the past year. Ask your husband, I said. Franklin lunged for the computer, but Miles was faster, his voice booming through the sound system. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll direct your attention to the screens. The gala erupted into chaos. Phones emerged, cameras flashing, board members clustering in urgent whispers. Franklin grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. You stupid girl! Let her go! Eli's voice cut through the noise. He stood in the doorway holding up his phone. Or the Project Phoenix footage goes live, too. Franklin's grip loosened. How did you? Dad's study had security cameras, too. Eli's hand shook, but his voice stayed firm. I found the backups last week, all of them. Mother stepped between us, her carefully constructed world crumbling. Eli, darling, you don't understand. I understand everything. His voice cracked. How you used Rose to cover your theft. How you helped Franklin hide the evidence. How you knew about the fire and did nothing. The betrayal in his eyes broke something in Mother. She reached for him, but he backed away. Eli, please. Don't. He looked at me, tears streaming. I'm sorry, Rose. I wanted to tell you sooner, but I needed proof. I needed to understand why Dad. Security guards appeared, surrounding Franklin. In the ballroom, board members were already calling emergency meetings. Everything was falling apart exactly as planned, but victory tasted like ashes. You've destroyed us all, Mother whispered. Everything your father built. Dad destroyed himself, I said quietly. You just helped hide the bodies. Franklin laughed suddenly, a hollow sound. You think this is justice? Wait until the lawsuits start. Wait until the victims' families learn the truth. This company won't survive the scandal. Maybe it shouldn't. Eli's words hung in the air. Maybe we need to burn it down and start over. Clean. Mother crumpled into a chair, her perfect makeup streaked with tears. What have we done? What have we all done? Miles appeared in the doorway, face grim. Rose, the board wants to speak with you, now. I looked at my family, Mother broken, Franklin in custody, Eli standing alone with the weight of truth on his shoulders. This was justice, wasn't it? This was what I'd wanted. So why did it feel like everyone had lost? Miss Carter? A board member appeared. We need your statement about your father's involvement. The USB drive felt heavy in my hand. One last secret, one last choice. Tell the whole truth and destroy Dad's legacy completely, or protect what little good remained. Eli touched my arm. Together? In his eyes, I saw Dad's strength and Mother's determination, but something else too. Hope, maybe. A chance to build something new from the ashes of our shared destruction. I took his hand, feeling the weight of generations of secrets and lies between us. Sometimes the hardest part isn't destroying the past, it's facing the future you create in its place. The police interview room felt smaller with each passing hour. Franklin sat across from me, his handcuffs gleaming under fluorescent lights, that smug smile still playing on his lips. Your father would be proud, he said. Such ruthless efficiency. You're more like him than you know. I'm nothing like him. The words came automatically, but doubt gnawed at my certainty. No? He leaned forward. Then why are you here, alone, making deals with the devil? The evidence sat between us, a flash drive containing everything Franklin had collected over the years, not just about Mother's schemes, but about every dark secret Carter Innovations had buried. You're offering this why? I asked. Revenge against Mother? Insurance. His smile widened. I go down quietly, serve minimal time, keep my offshore accounts. You get the company, clean and clear. Everyone wins. Except the victims' families. Ah, yes, your moral compass. He drummed his fingers on the table. Tell me, Rose, how will those families feel knowing Henry Carter's daughter profited from their tragedy? That you're protecting his name even now. The door opened. Miles stepped in, face grim. Rose, we have a problem. Your mother's called an emergency board meeting. She's trying to force a vote of no confidence. Franklin's laugh echoed off concrete walls. You see, she's always been better at this game than any of us. My phone buzzed. Eli. Mom's lying to everyone, says you're mentally unstable, trying to destroy the company. Some board members are believing her. Tick-tock, Franklin taunted. What's it gonna be? Take my deal and save the company, or watch your mother burn everything to the ground? I stood, pacing the small room. Through the window, I could see Mother arriving at Carter Innovations, reporters swarming. Her performance would be flawless, the grieving widow, the concerned mother, protecting her husband's legacy from her troubled daughter. There's something else you should know, Franklin said softly, about the night of the fire. Your father wasn't alone when he said it. I froze. What? Ask your mother why she really married me. Ask her who actually struck the match. The world tilted. Miles grabbed my arm, steadying me. He's manipulating you, Rose. Don't listen. Am I? Franklin held up his cuffed hands. Check the security footage again. Look for your mother's car in the parking lot. Henry may have planned it, but Vivian? She made sure it happened. Ask yourself why she never seemed surprised by the company's sudden success. My phone buzzed again. The board meeting starting in 15 minutes. Mother would be perfect, convincing, devastating. Just like the night she helped kill those people. The deal expires when I leave this room, Franklin said. Choose quickly. Miles touched my shoulder. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. I looked at the flash drive, then at my phone showing Mother entering the boardroom. All those years of manipulation, of calculated cruelty masked as protection. She'd helped kill people, married their murderer, all to maintain her precious status. No deal, I said quietly. Franklin's smile vanished. You're making a mistake. No, I'm making a choice. I pulled out my own drive, the one containing Eli's footage. Mother taught me well. Always have a backup plan. I turned to Miles. Send everything, the fire, the fraud, all of it, to the board, the police, the press. Let them all burn together. Rose, Franklin started. You were right about one thing. I met his eyes. I am my father's daughter, but I'm not protecting his legacy anymore. I'm ending it. As we left the room, Franklin's mask finally cracked. You'll lose everything. No, I said, not looking back. I'm just choosing what to save. Outside, reporters were already gathering, drawn by whispers of scandal. Soon they'd have more than whispers. They'd have the truth, all of it. My phone lit up with Eli's message. Mom's starting her speech. Ready when you are. I took Miles's hand, feeling the weight of generations of lies finally lifting. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't in winning the game, it's in refusing to play. The lake reflected the autumn sunset, like burning gold, the same view Dad had loved all those years ago. I sat on our old bench, watching ripples disturb the perfect surface as Eli skipped stones across the water. The headlines had finally started to fade. Carter Industries scandal claims 3 more executives. Vivian Carter faces 20 years. Phoenix fire victims' families file class action suit. Your form's getting better, I told Eli as another stone bounced 4 times before sinking. Mom's lawyer called again. He selected another stone, testing its weight. Wants me to speak at her sentencing. Character witness? Are you going to? The stone flew, skipping 6 times before disappearing. Haven't decided. Does that make me a bad son? No. I moved over, making space on the bench. It makes you honest. He sat, shoulders heavy with questions no 15-year-old should have to carry. The board wants to rename the company, distance it from everything. What do you think? I think. He picked up another stone, but didn't throw it. I think Dad built something real here, before the fire, before the lies. Maybe we can too. The trust fund papers sat in my bag, waiting for signatures. The lawyers had been clear. Eli could inherit his share of the reformed company at 21 if he wanted it. His choice, his future, unburdened by our parents' sins. Miles asked about you, I said carefully. He's worried. He loves you, you know. Eli's directness, so like Dad's, still caught me off guard. Has since we were kids. I know. Then why aren't you? Because some things need to heal first. I touched the locket at my throat, Mom's last gift before everything fell apart. Some people too. A familiar car approached on the lakeside road. Miles, right on time. He'd been my anchor through the trials, the testimonies, the long nights of rebuilding what our parents had broken. The victims' families, Eli said suddenly. The compensation fund, is it enough? No. I watched the sun sink lower, painting the water in shades of fire. Nothing ever could be, but it's a start. He nodded, understanding more than I'd expected. Rose, when I turn 21, will you help me with the company? Only if you promise one thing. I turned to face him fully. We do it differently. No shortcuts, no secrets, no compromises. Deal. He smiled, Mom's smile, but warmer, truer. Though technically, that's 3 things. Miles's car door closed softly. His footsteps approached, patient as always. You should go, Eli said. He's waited long enough. I hugged him, feeling the strength in his growing frame. Coming to dinner Sunday? Wouldn't miss it. He pulled back, eyes bright with unshed tears. Hey, Rose, thanks for choosing me. Over the deal with Franklin, over everything. Always will, kid. I walked toward Miles, leaving Eli to his stone-skipping meditation. The lake breeze carried the scent of approaching rain, of endings and beginnings. Ready? Miles asked simply. Behind us, Eli's last stone skipped 7 times, a perfect arc across golden water. I thought of Dad's video, of Mom's perfectly crafted lies, of Franklin's final attempt at manipulation. All those carefully constructed facades, shattered like ripples on a lake. You know what Dad used to say about revenge? I took Miles' offered hand, that it's like throwing a stone. You can aim perfectly, calculate every skip, but you can't control where the ripples go. Wise man, Miles said softly. Despite everything. Despite everything, I agreed. We walked toward the car, leaving the lake and its memories behind. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, board meetings, therapy sessions, rebuilding what was broken. But tonight the water turned to fire in the setting sun, and somewhere between the truth and the lies, between justice and revenge, I found something I hadn't expected. Peace, not perfect, not complete, but real, like ripples on water, spreading outward, touching shores I couldn't see. Sometimes that's enough.